All right, welcome back, everybody. It is the Orange Bowl Media Tour, Capital One Orange Bowl Media Tour, brought to you by Duffy Sports Grill. Our final day here at Big Ten Media Day. And we got the head coach, newcomer to the Big Ten, Dan Lanning here, head coach of the Oregon Ducks. How are you, Coach? Thank you so much for the time.
Yeah, doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Great first speech, by the way. I'm not going to lie. I got to hear a piece of it when I was off the air. Gave me the goosies, man. You nailed it.
Goosies are good, right?
The goosies are good, man. The goosies are good. It was. I feel like you covered a lot. It was pretty cool to hear about your family and all that type of stuff. So I imagine this has to be a pretty exciting time jumping into a conference like this.
Football's fun, huh?
Yeah.
It's fun, and being a part of this conference is pretty humbling. It's pretty cool.
What is there anything different that's kind of just knocked off immediately, or is it tough to tell any of that?
I think some of that's hard to assess. One thing you can evaluate is how teams tried to win games last year, and we spent a lot of time watching that. Like, what are the strengths of each program? What personnel groups do they live in? What are their favorite go-to plays? So we can have an awareness of, okay, how would we defend that, or how would we attack that? And what do we need to carry into fall camp that's something we can carry over to the season. But outside of that, building a winning football team, I think that formula that really hasn't changed. What it should look like on the line of scrimmage, what those things should look like. Certainly this is a physical conference, but we're a physical team, so that makes us a good fit for this place.
I want to ask you, this summer you had one of the Miami Dolphins just graduate from your pro.
Jevon Holland,
Jevon Holland.
What an awesome
dude is beloved.
Should be.
What's been your impressions being? I think you guys just missed each other.
Yeah, I came in when he was leaving.
But what's been your impressions of just Javon as a guy?
Gosh, he just it's so apparent to me the little bit of time that I've got to spend with him why he's such a winner. I mean, the work ethic, the focus, the way he's able to talk to people. This guy's killing it in the league, and you have a conversation with him and you wouldn't know any different that, he's just a guy hanging out. So the impact he has on our players, how much he cares about our place, that means a lot to us, and we're so excited to see the success that he's having there with the Dolphins.
You see, just as him as a player, what makes him so special? Because everybody just talks about his versatility, everything that he brings, but as a defensive mind, what do you see when you watch a guy like Jevon Holland play football?
I think you just hit it, right? Position versatility is so big right now. Safeties in the NFL now have to be able to cover. They have to be able to tackle, ball skills. They're the communicators, and he's a guy that can be moved around the field in multiple locations. He can match up and cover. He can blitz. And I think that's something. He's not a one-trick pony. He's able to do a lot of things for their team.
How much is that transition over to the NFL? When you talk to your players about that, you obviously have a lot of highly touted guys. Like the Dolphins, just for example, they just drafted Chop Robinson. People are wondering, what is a fair time to make that transition from Big Ten football, which is obviously very physical, to the NFL? What do you think is a fair assessment of what that transition is like?
I think it's more important to look at positions more so than just the player. There's certain positions that are really hard to be able to go in and make an impact right away. Offensive and defensive line, those are hard, hard positions. Edge, that's somewhere it could show up. I'm familiar with Chop, recruited him out of high school. He's a dang good player, man. He's an awesome kid. So I think you'll have great success there, but there's certain positions that are a little bit easier. Obviously, quarterback, it's hard to get thrown in the fire. The minute you show up, you have to know so much about the game. But he's a guy that definitely could transition to a player that could help quick.
Can you explain to me this? I watched this video on your social media, this hike that you guys go on as a team. What is this?
Yeah, so we had a player on our team, Spencer Webb, who unfortunately 2 years ago passed away in the summer. And there's a butte there in town called Spencer's Butte, just outside of Eugene. We felt like it would be a great way to pay homage to him at the end of our summer training to say, hey, we're going to climb up Spencer's Butte, take a little bit of time to remember him and what he meant to our program. On the way up the hill. In the Butte, we kind of spend our time thinking about the people that helped us get where we're at currently. In the top of the hill, we spend our time thinking about the people that aren't with us anymore, that mean so much to us. And on the way down, we kind of spend our time thinking about who are we going to impact on the way out. So this year was unique because we also, had some time up there to think about Kyrie and the impact he had on our team. So losing players is something you hope you never have to do as a coach or experience as a coach. But that hike has been a way that we can kind of commemorate those guys, put an exclamation point on the end of our season or our end of our summer training before we hop into fall camp.
What are the things you reflect on? What are the things that just mean the most to you when you're up there with those guys?
The hike, the fact that there's a challenge and you got to do it with somebody else. At the beginning of the hike, you're like, okay, this is pretty easy. And then you get to the end and you're like, all right, how much further is this thing? And being up at the top, catching that fresh breath of fresh air, seeing the view that you have on the top of that butte over Eugene and, that part of Oregon is really unique. And to get to share that moment with our players is a lot of fun.
I got a chance to meet your quarterback, Dillon Gabriel. What a great guy.
Stud, huh?
How did that connection come to be, and what's been the first impressions of him around you guys?
Yeah, I've been really pleased with Dillon. His growth since he's been here. More excited about the kind of person he is than anything. He's a guy I was familiar with when I was at Georgia. We actually recruited Gillen really late down the stretch, got an opportunity to meet him and connect with him. And then if you're not a fan of college football the last few years, you've seen what this guy's been able to accomplish at his previous stops. So when when he entered the portal, this was in a lot of ways a natural fit for him, being from Hawaii, being a big fan of Marcus Mariota and seeing what he accomplished here at Oregon, and then carrying on that passion of wearing number 8 and what that means. So he's a guy that appreciates the opportunity in front of him. He's done an unbelievable job connecting with his teammates. I think that's really special. Gone above and beyond, saying, hey, I'm going to have this guy over for dinner. Hey, I'm going to spend the time having this conversation with this equipment manager. I'm going to take these guys on an offensive retreat. And I think that's been really, really special.
Yeah, I was talking to him because I feel like there's a lefty bias, Coach. Like, I feel like
there is a lefty bias. I agree with that.
I'm telling you, like, when people will break down Tua on Twitter, you ever see the weird thing where people flipped him to righty and like changed the way that his bombs look, and they think, oh, they feel like he looks like a better corner. Like, it's the same thing. I don't think there's any difference. And I feel like Dillon, I'm trying to explain to him, I said, I hope they don't do this to you because I feel like you're a stud. Yeah. I don't want anybody taking any kind of any shots at you just because you're lefty and you're awesome. I remember Mark Brunell. Mark Brunell was to the Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell times.
Jaguars.
I feel like these lefty quarterbacks are getting phased out just because they come from a different angle. No respect.
People don't like different, right? It's different. So good for him. No, he's been a good lefty quarterback for us so far. I'm excited to see what he does this season.
Before I get you out of here, just admit it, man. What'd you do with this giant duck? Like, how did you brought that you have to be head coach is behind everything. They have to have some.
I may have got like a heads up. What do you think? And I said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Why not?
So what is this? This was a tricky booster? Like, who's behind this?
I don't know all the details. All I know is someone said, hey, what do you think about this? And, yeah, it's kind of like being the first day of school and you walk in, you're the new kid, you want to wear your best shoes, right? So we want to come in and tell everybody how excited we are to be a part of the conference.
Oregon definitely does that. Coach, appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All righty.